Everything. We gotta split it up a little bit.
Excuse me, coming through ICP.
There's how we hook it up. I kind of did a diagram. But the yellow hose, I should say the service hose,
Mr. Steve, are we?
go to the inlet port on the recovery machine. The service hose is the yellow hose. And the yellow hose from the outlet of the recovery machine goes to the liquid port, which is the red port on the recovery cylinder. That one goes to red. Right?
Yeah.
Rashaki, would you close the door? Because it's going to make a little bit of noise.
Okay.
Now it's got to go to the, what does CU stand for?
Compressor unit.
Condensing unit. Yes. I ain't doing it. Somebody's got to do it. I'm supervising.
Oh,
Red
wait.
one goes to the liquid line. You're on the suction line.
Over.
Right?
I'm supervisor
the
and trainer.
Well, you don't mind if I help, do you?
They don't have this set up where like everybody can see at the same time.
What's that?
Ah, it's okay. I'm sorry.
It's video and you're in.
Side also is called the head pressure, high pressure. Low side is called the suction pressure. Of the low pressure.
Low suction.
Okay, everything's hooked up. Those valves are off. Everything is off here. We can plug it in. It's not going to start, but we can plug it in to get it ready.
Then what do we do?
Well, then we start opening a bunch of valves.
Okay, let's start.
What do you want to open first? Doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter what order?
Not really, because everything is tight. I mean, I hope all the hoses are tight, right?
Well, do you want to start with the yellow machine first?
You
No,
check the
let's not
hoses
start.
for
Let's do the yellow machine. You mean the recovery machine?
Yeah.
Let's do that last. Thank you, Thomas.
Can open them up.
The both are there.
My name's on there, right?
Just the
No, he said,
glass.
this ain't gonna cause no explosions back here. I don't want to.
That's why you're there.
I'm trying to get frost.
To protect me, man.
That's good. It's all the way open.
All valves closed. The outlet is
No,
the red
the other
one.
one.
Then you're going to start it up and then open the inlet. And open that inlet. And now we just watch the pressure go down. Hang that up so we can see that, would you? As the refrigerant is recovered from the unit, the pressure is going to drop. And we'll want to shut that off when or shut to close to zero. And the best way to tell is on the low side. The high side is a higher scale. But it should be going down. Is it dropping?
Well, it's making the tank heavier.
Oh, you're right. Two, into the suction side, you're supposed to do just vapor. But to speed it up, guys, we'll bring it back and forth to let liquid in vapor, liquid vapor. And you can do that as long as you don't let enough liquid in during the compressor. These scroll compressors will stand up to a little bit of liquid. What's that?
The high pressure.
Okay, that's fine. Good. On our older reciprocating compressors, you really don't want liquid going in there because it'll ruin the valve.
You have to leave it like that.
Well, no, you can do that. With experience, you get to judge how much you can put in. You don't want to do that. It stays off recovery.
Because it's going to go.
Chris notices that this is cold. It's cold because it's drawing liquid refrigerant in, and as it draws it in, it's evaporating. So as it evaporates, it cools.
Yeah, it's
putting
got
a low
cold
pressure
too.
on
See
there.
how cold it's getting?
The line should be cold too. As a matter of fact, look at the dryer, it's frosting up.
Hey, Steve, you only want it on when you're charging it up.
Say again?
You only want it on when you're charging it up. You only want it on when you're charging it up.
Only what?
Want it on when it's charging up.
System like we're going to be doing, we don't want it on. We're going to pull a vacuum on it, then we're going to put liquid into the liquid side and weigh it in, and then we'll add more if we have to while it's on.
When you're charging it up, don't it gotta be on?
Not an initial charge. we're going to pull a vacuum, we're going to put liquid into the liquid side while it's on. Then if it needs more, and it probably will, I'll get the fresh jug of 410, then we'll put it while it's running. We're pretty close to zero now. Let's let it go another
Goes fast.
pound or two. That off, shut the machine off, and shut this valve off. It doesn't really matter what order you do it in.
Yeah, we just got fired.
Okay, leave that on there for a minute. Let's see how much we got in there. It was 29.5 roughly. It's 33, so we got about,
4 pounds.
well, almost 3.5 or so, almost 4 pounds. Okay, so what do we do now?
What do you want us to do?
I don't know. These are closed? Yeah. Okay, let's take that hose out. Now we're going to pull a vacuum on the system. There's still a tiny bit of refrigerant in, but that's okay. So just take the service hose off there. Well, close both those valves first.
On the service, on this hose, it doesn't matter which side you put it in, right?
Check the oil level. On this sight glass here, there's the oil level right here. And on just about every vacuum pump, there's a line that shows if it's halfway, if the oil mark is halfway, then it's full. Halfway on the sight glass. This says oil level, and it's right at the level. So we're okay here.
So what kind of oil?
Forever. I'm going to shut this off just to save the battery, because when I came to it this morning, the battery was dead. I had to go get another battery. Is that on pretty tight? Okay. Let's see. What we're going to want to do, now let's not do it until we're ready. This is the ballast. Well, let me start somewhere else. This is the valve. This is in the off position, straight up in this particular vacuum pump. Straight up is in the on position, not yet. Once we start it up, we're going to loosen this. Just crack it a little bit for about 20 or 30 seconds. The ballast allows air to go in and actually prevents moisture from mixing with the oil. If you didn't open it up, it's not that big a deal, but it does help prevent moisture from going in, but only for 20 or 30 seconds when we first start it up. So what we're going to do, we're going to open up that valve. We're going to open up both gauges. Where's the towel? Can I have that towel? This is where whatever's in the system comes out, and thank you. Sometimes oil will spit out there for the first few seconds. So if it does, I want to catch
move
it. Okay. Well, let's open the valves first. You already did. Oh, they are open? Just the sound of the pressure of the refrigerant going into the oil. You can open, just crack it open. That's good enough. Now start it up. No.
You have to leave it for 20 seconds.
While you start it. Leave it open while you start it.
Open it.
Leave it open? No. That's good. Okay. That's all. We're not getting any oil out of there. That's good.
It's making a gargle noise.
Now, as it pulls the vacuum, you can see from the compound gauge. The compound gauge shows vacuum and pressure. It's going into the red part. And the deeper the vacuum, the more it's going to head towards 30. 30 inches of vacuum is actually a perfect vacuum, and there's no such thing as a perfect vacuum. But that's going to read 30. It's going to look like it is. It's not really going to be 30. It's just that that's not that. These gauges are not that accurate to read a vacuum, but it does tell us that it's in a vacuum. So now we just wait some more.
How long?
That depends on the system and how many
if we were really
liquid you have
pulling
there.
a deep vacuum, it'd probably be a couple of hours. And if we were out in the field doing this, if it were safe to leave it alone, without worrying about some stealing it, we would maybe put it in between the unit and the wall and go do another service. Because a deep vacuum is going to take a couple of hours at least. And to do a deep vacuum, we would put on a micron gauge, which we have to measure the vacuum. A deep vacuum is, well, according to the EPA, it's considered 500 microns. We like to pull a deeper one, if we can, to 250 microns. In the case of a vacuum measured in microns, the lower the number, the deeper the vacuum.